Welcome back to High Noon Live on LinkedIn. I'm Nikki Robotham in studio with Michelle Cavé. We've been having some fascinating conversations really around, how do we start to step away from those things that keep us stuck, that keep us small, like imposter syndrome, the need for perfectionism in every aspect of our lives. But as Michelle was saying as we left the last segment, when it comes to PR and brand communications, that's where it serves us. So it is all about finding that flow that's a balance that works for you and what you're working with. And I think after 7 years in the business, you found your balance at least.
That's right.
And it's one of those things we have to just work with ongoing from that perspective. And especially, I suppose, having a family-run business. You work with your mom, you work with your brother.
That's right.
Tell me a bit more around that, because also, you're leading the business from within this family unit as well.
Right. Yeah, it's never a straightforward thing for anybody, I don't think, but my family and I have always been very close.
Yeah.
And we became even closer after my father died. It was about 18 years ago now. So we've always been involved in each other's in each other's lives, and my mom is a massive support to me with my daughter as well. So she initially started off just with the books and fetching Isla, my daughter, from school. But we saw a bigger role, and she has played a valuable part in running the business, creating the systems and the operations and all of that. And then my brother joined a couple of years later, and he's found his niche in developing social media content. You need youngsters to be running these things, and we speak different languages sometimes when it comes to that. But it's a very collaborative environment and a very safe, trusted, and committed team. Everybody's very much invested in the success of the business. And so we have a lot of fun while we're doing it.
And that for me is the best part about it.
Absolutely.
Is when you work with people you really enjoy and they're lit up and there's passion, it doesn't feel like work.
No.
But I'm sure, there's many instances where you have to work to hold boundaries within a family-run business, because you can't just, it's harder to have that full stop at the end of your day, to be able to have that clean cutoff between work and family life.
Right.
And I'm sure, boundaries is something that's become really important to you. Tell me around maybe an example that you've struggled with.
Yeah, socializing on the weekends. My sister often tells us to stop now because she doesn't know what we're talking about and it's exclusive. So she's the first one to get us in check.
Yeah.
But we don't get carried away. I think there will be some opportunities to talk about some of the dynamics or the challenges that we're facing and some advice shared. But for the most part, I think we do spend a lot of time together during the workday. Yeah. So we know how to switch off. No, having an 8-year-old daughter also changes the subject very quickly for us. So
I can imagine she doesn't want to talk about communication strategies.
Yeah, she keeps us busy with conversation over and above. So we're good.
Absolutely. And something that I think is so important, and I often call it unshackling from the shoulds. Those are all of the stories we tell ourselves around how things should look. Yeah. Has there been, in building a business after 7 years, been a big story that you were telling yourself that you maybe had to step away from? One of those sort of things that you thought it should look like, and this was the path the business should look like.
Yes.
Have you had to step away from any of that?
I think so. Having worked with a coach and mentors over the years, I've come to realize that actually bigger is not always better. You feel like you have to achieve this growth trajectory where you're employing a lot of new people and you have your own building and all of that. I've come to realize over time that I don't want to grow big. I love the fact that we're boutique, and I think our clients love that too. Because they get their hands on expertise, and we're absolutely invested. We don't go and sell in the strategy and then palm it off to young juniors who are going to run the account. So for me, I have come to learn that there are different there are different results of success or different ideas of success. Rather.
And I think it's so important to define success for yourself, because that's what I've seen so much, is that everyone's been chasing this picture of success. This is what it should look like.
That's right.
And then we do think you have to be a multi-million or multi-billion rand company with X number of employees in a big fancy building. And sometimes we have to say that actually just this is enough. Just this feels like success. And especially where it is boutique, it's intimate, it's personal. You would lose that by moving into a different lens. So I think that's a great should to have unshackled from, because I think it's so important to define success for yourself. So I love that. Not every business is supposed to be multi-billion dollar from that sort of thing. Hopefully you're going to...
We would still like to be multi-billion, but just on a small scale in terms of overheads.
Absolutely, I'm there with you. And now I want to really sort of, as we're coming to the end of the segment, talk to you around some of your top tips for people around communication, because I think messaging is so important. What would be some of your top tips through your learning over the last 7 years that you give people around how they bring communication through?
Yes, I think there are many, many tips, and that's why you need a PR expert on hand. Yeah. But certainly from a consistency point of view, that's how people become to see, you become synonymous with a certain keyword, or a phrase or a meaning. So I think that's crucial. Yeah. And then, of course, not complicating the message. Yeah. I sometimes get briefs where we want to have 5 different messages in this communication, and we want to have 10 different people quoted in the article. Yeah. You've got to distill it. We're human at the end of the day, and we're trying to retain information. We're getting exposed to a lot of different brand messages. So what is the one thing that people can pinpoint to your brand and to what you stand for? And if you're authentic, that will come through naturally as well, and people will see it play out on different touch points, not just from what you're saying, but how you actually deliver on that.
Oh, I love that. And I think keeping it simple is so important. I often refer to the concept of thoughtful simplicity. And I think, Michelle, just to wrap up those points, as we're ending up the show today, it's keep it simple, keep it concise, keep it authentic, because I think people are valuing realness so much more in today's market. Right. We want to know who you are really at the end of the day as a business. So thank you so much for joining us today on the segment of High Noon Live on LinkedIn. Michelle, it's been so wonderful chatting to you around building a business under pressure, some of the things you've struggled with that can help other people maybe avoid those pitfalls. And it's been such a wonderful experience.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
And thank you to everyone who's joined us and loved the comments online around the people who are enjoying the conversation. So thank you so much and have a fantastic afternoon.